20% of small businesses fail within their first year. In this video, I will show you how to not become one of these businesses and how to successfully scale up and become profitable, with a specific focus on medical businesses. My name is Dr. Omar Rifai. I'm the founder and CEO of Rifai Medical Solutions. Over the past couple of years, I have worked with a number of businesses in managing their performance within the healthcare industry and have developed a smart system that any small business can start implementing to grow and reach their maximum potential. By the end of this video, you will learn step by step how to measure your business performance and, most importantly, data-driven decision making. Now, before I get started, it's important to note that I'm not here to teach sales or marketing. Obviously, if you don't have proper sales and marketing embedded within your business, the business is not going to succeed. But let's assume that you have figured out all the necessary elements within your business, including sales, marketing, customer fulfillment, measuring your cash flow, team culture, etc. How do you know if you're on the right track? And how do you measure your business performance? And most importantly, how to know what decisions to make in order to make sure your business is going to succeed. So let's break it down into 5 simple steps. The first thing you need to do is define your KPIs, or your key performance indicators. These are things that you would need to monitor based off your business objectives. Next, you need to determine your metrics. In other words, we are turning our KPIs into measurable values. Step number 3 is collecting the required data. And this is a critical step that many businesses fail to properly implement because it can get quite messy. Step 4 is analyzing the data you collected at regular intervals. For example, every month or every quarter. And the last step, step number 5, is making informed decisions based on the analyzed data. And if the previous steps were properly done by the time you reach step 5, I guarantee that your business will grow. So let's look into it in more detail. The first step, as we said, is determining your KPIs, or your key performance indicators. Any successful business would need to have a set of objectives or goals it needs to achieve. Let's say, for example, providing best service in town and achieving $2 million in annual revenue. But how do we know if we are on the right track to achieve these business goals? And more importantly, how do we know what steps and actions to prioritize in order to achieve these goals? Let's take the 2 examples of providing best service in town and achieving the $2 million annual revenue. These are the KPIs I would choose. Client satisfaction, technology adoption, and cash flow. Now let's move on to step number 2, and that's determining your metrics. These are measurable data that you need to monitor at specific intervals, such as weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even annually when you sit down and review the strategy of your business. And what you need to do here is assign what we call the threshold, the target, and the stretch objectives based on industry benchmarking data. What does that look like? The threshold is the minimum performance standard that you'd expect from your business. Typically, 80% or more of your metrics should achieve that number. The target is the number that your business must achieve to perform well and meet its strategic objectives. Typically, about 50% of your metrics should reach that target number. And lastly, a stretch indicates that you have surpassed industry standards in that specific measure, and that you have done exceptionally well and you should maximize on that. Typically, 20% or less of your metrics that you measure can achieve that stretch measure. Let's now create some metrics for the KPIs we identified in step 1. You can monitor your Google review rating or your RateMD rating. 4.5 stars, 4.7 stars, and 5 stars are reasonable threshold, target, and stretch metrics. Another important metric is monitoring the rate of new client inquiries. These are some reasonable metrics to aim for. A big indicator of growth is the number of new patients per month. These are a few example metrics, but of course, this is very much dependent on the medical specialty or service your business offers. You'll also certainly want to include your business's readiness to attract new technology and improve its productivity. A simple way to start tracking tech adoption is by calculating the number of new technologies implemented over a span of 2 or 3 years. Your customer acquisition costs, or in other words, how much each of your new clients is costing you in marketing, is a very valuable number to monitor. But many clinics fail to do so, which is a big mistake. And now that we have determined our KPIs and necessary metrics, it's time to move on to step number 3. This step is usually time-consuming as it requires the business owner to strategize a way to collect the data, but also make sure that the collected data is accurate and you're able to convert it from the raw data form to a visual that creates a story for your business. So let's say, for example, you want to determine the number of new patients per month. You need a way to extract that data from the EMR. A solution would be building a query in the EMR. But as you can see, this can get pretty challenging if you have 10 plus metrics to measure. This is why we usually recommend medium to large scale businesses to automate that process by building a software that can, in real time, extract that data and present it in a dashboard. Power BI and Tableau are great options for that. But we're now seeing EMRs such as Accuro implementing that functionality, which is pretty useful. Next is step number 4, analyzing your data. This step is usually straightforward if you were able to come up with a robust system to collect that data and present it. What you need to do at this step is regularly monitor these metrics and point out any metrics that are falling behind or at risk. You would also need to determine the root cause of those metrics that are falling behind and come up with steps to mitigate. And finally, step number 5. This is a critical step where you go ahead and make the decisions and decide on the actions needed based on your business performance indicators. So if you've done a really good job from steps 1 to 4, I can highly guarantee that step 5 will lead to success. So here you have it, 5 steps to assess your business performance and make the right decisions to scale up and grow.